Okay, so hi, I'm Reis. I completed my master's thesis here in informatics and computer engineering in 2020, and since then I've been working as a backend engineer at Samazi, which is a company in the ad tech industry. So basically, we process lots of user data and cluster those users into groups. So just to give you a little bit of context, raise your hand if you've ever used Docker. Alright, so I guess most people here are familiar with Docker at least. So you know that if you're developing containerized applications nowadays, basically you're probably going to use Docker, and therefore you're probably also going to write a Docker file for your containers. Here is a little bit of the development process that usually goes with developing a Docker file. So first you start with the code. And the code is a Docker file which you build into an image, then instantiate in a container. Then you may want to take a look at how the container is doing, or if the services are running and if everything's fine. So you may want to open a shell into it, analyze it, and then iterate it, going back to the code and repeating all this process. So taking a look at this concept of live programming. So live programming is a concept where basically, do you know when you're editing a code and basically if you forget a parenthesis, you immediately get a Reis quickly line telling you that there's something wrong there. So that's some form of liveness, because you're writing code and you're getting the feedback from your development environment as you're writing the code. So basically, we were thinking how could we apply this concept into Docker files, so that we can get some live and rich information about the Docker file that we are building. So that's the question that we posed. So how can we use live programming to improve the development process of Docker files? And from this question came Dockerlive, which is an extension for Visual Studio Code, which automatically provides feedback to the developer about the Docker file that he's writing. And basically what Dockerlive does is that it takes that development process that we just looked at, and basically does a bunch of those steps for the developer so that he gets all that information without ever leaving the IDE. So just to show you a bit more concretely how this works, I have a little demo here, which I'll show you. Right, so here we have a Docker file, and as you can see, we have like a Reis quickly line there, and basically, if you look at it, that start file.js has a typo, so it's missing an I. So the extension tried to build the image, but it couldn't because of that error, so it underlines it for the developer. So once we fix that, you can see that the image now builds and the container is now running. So you can see also that above each line, you can see how long each instruction took to execute, and how big, how much space does that instruction add to the final image. So let's keep going. Right. So you can also see what the current OS is, what the OS is in the container. So in this instance, we are using a version of Alpine Linux. Right there on line 7, you can see that there's a yellow squiggly line, and that's there because Dockerlive detected that you defined that environment variable explicitly in the Docker file, but it got changed at some point by some program that was executing. So it may not be an error, but it's kind of a weird behavior. So maybe you want to tell the developer about this. Right, so something else that you can also do is see which processes are running inside the container. So in this case, this container is just a simple Node.js program, so it's just running in VM and Node. And here you can see also the performance statistics on those of the container. You can see the CPU, the memory, and the network input as well. And you can also open a shell directly to the container there. You can also see the changes that each instruction made to the file system inside the image. So basically, each instruction may cause a change in a layer of the image. So you can see all the layers here and all the changes that it does. So you can inspect the entire file system here. Yeah. So we've put this everything into practice using the extension. We've done some empirical tests with users, and basically we found that the users, developers who are using this tool are able to find problems faster and iterate faster in their development. And this extension is also available online. It has like 2.4K of downloads, so it's pretty has some good acceptance from the general public as well. So yeah, feel free to try it out and reach out to me if you have any questions as well.